Yo, yo, yo. All right. Let me see. Stream latency. All right, let me check. Can you guys hear me okay? Oh, that's probably way too loud. Yeah, let's turn that down a little bit. All right. Check 1, 2. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, Brandon. Welcome, welcome. We'll give a little bit. Let me tweet this out. Got to tweet out that I'm live. Oh, there it is. All right, guys, we're talking bunch of stuff today. Bunch of stuff tonight. How you guys going in the chat? How was your guys' Saturday? A Michigan football-less Saturday, right? All right, let me set up a couple things here. We'll get going here shortly. Okay, here we go. I swear it's like a maze trying to get all this stuff on my screen. I don't need this. I can minimize you. Go blue. Welcome, faith, truth, freedom. We're going to get started in a couple minutes here. Oh, the broomster himself, Anthony Broom. The boy. The tip-off. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, Kalen. Welcome, Andrew Slade. Yeah, that Ohio State game was rough. I mean, you know, I don't know what we expected. Gavin, tip-off. Faith, truth, freedom. Brandon. What are we guys drinking tonight? I got Two-Hearted. All right, I'm going to start off here by going through some questions on some posts on the community tab of the Maize and Brew channel. Go through those. So hold off on any questions. Welcome, everyone. If you have questions, I'm going to go through just kind of like a Q&A probably for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever. We'll see what we get to. See if we get to analysis. If you guys actually want to go back and look at previous games, you guys are crazier than me, but I'm here for a bit. So cheers to you. All right, let's go into chat. Hopefully people are flowing in here. How many we got? We got 15 people. That's plenty. All right, let's get rid of this beautiful background I created. Do you like this? Do you like this little background? I spent like, when was this? I spent a little bit of time on it last weekend, I think. Just put it together. I think it's nice. All right, let's get through some of these questions. All right. Let's pull up OBS. I'm going to switch to, ready? Different view. 3, 2, 1. Whoa. All right. And then let's just keep this. I'm actually going to just put this on playback. How do we do repeat? Video. You think I would just know how to, oh. All right, you know what? We're just going to do this, and we're going to do this. All right, you guys are looking at the behind the scenes view here. So let's go to the actual My Channel, and then we can walk through each of the questions themselves. So Community tab, if you guys don't know, this Community tab, do I have to zoom in on this? Yeah, so you guys can see it a little bit better. This is where I'm going to start using this a little bit more, but I posted this yesterday. I think only if you're a subscriber you can see this, maybe not, but if you subscribe, I know you would get an actual notification when I post things in here. So yeah, this is what I'm looking to do. Go through mainly like football Q&A. I will address some basketball questions there. If we want to get into offensive analysis of Michigan's previous game, we can do that. I do have the film for that, but we'll go from there. And then, yeah, let's just get started. So let's go through these questions, and let's just go through sequentially. But first off, what are we drinking tonight, guys? Broom, I know you're a big beer guy. What have you been drinking today? I'm curious. Yeah, anyone coming in, I'll answer your questions. I'm going to answer these first. These were the ones on the community tab of the Maize and Brew channel. So I'm going to be going through these first, and then we'll go from there. You're drinking tears, Lewis Blake. Holy shit. That is depressing. I cannot blame you. Straight Coke. Coke's good. I had a Coke earlier. Bush with 12 H's. Dependent fanatic. I appreciate that. I can go for a nice Bush once in a while. Oh, don't call me Greg. I do remember that. Okay, I'm going to start with don't call me Greg. Also, should I make this chat a little bit bigger on this chat window? Should I do that? It's a little hard to read. I'll figure it out. Okay. Ooh, nice little whiskey pour. Good for you, Broom. Okay. All right, Greg, I'm going to start with yours because you're right. My stream just cut out last week. So I'll answer that first. Most important positions on the football team. It's got to be the trenches. So it's offensive line and defensive line. Nothing else. And you're 18, just water. That's fine. But offensive line, defensive line, you got to start there, right? It's like if you take the offense, nothing can work without a competent offensive line. Doesn't matter really what you have at skill positions. If the offensive line isn't opening up any holes, not protecting your quarterback, you're just going to die, right? That's been Michigan State's primary problem the past couple of years. And we knew Michigan after the 2013 offensive line class kind of fell out. Michigan only recently kind of recuperated from that. So, and there's so many position needs there as well, right? It's 5 guys usually on both defensive line and offensive line that you need to be solid. So if you don't have like a solid offensive line overall, that's huge. And then defense, it starts with defensive line. You can have really solid linebackers that never can get anywhere because offensive line can easily get to the second level. The defensive line isn't holding up on double teams, right? So outside of the trenches, though, I would say cornerback, just because I think it's the most difficult position on the field, but having like a lockdown corner opens up your defense for a ton. And I think that's it. I mean, quarterback, I think is obvious, right? So for the non-obvious positions, I think that's pretty much all I got for you, Greg. That's a good question. Okay. Let's start with LSD's nuts, right? That's an appropriate way to start this one off. Question: do you think there is a root issue in the athletic department or administration that is holding the football program back? Is the problem beyond the coaching staff? So this one's interesting. So I don't think there's actually something like beyond the coaching staff, really. I think there are like not issues, but challenges with Michigan in the sense that they're not going to waver from wanting to be like on a moral high ground. Like that's just like a high character coach, high character staff, high character players. That's always going to be something that Michigan goes for. But again, that's something Michigan can use to their advantage, right? If they can pitch that to the right recruits, then that's a benefit of being able to be a high character person, be led by high character people. You can see that as a positive, but kind of like having that reputation or that sort of like mindset could maybe eliminate some other guys with more questionable, questionable backgrounds. And like anyone who thought like Urban Meyer would be an entertainable thought as a head coach, just look at his past, right? There's too much like damages there for him to even be a realistic choice. And that's just one example. I think that's more of like an administration and more of just like an overall culture that can prohibit Michigan in general. And I think that's also what kind of holds them back from going into the like football factory mode. I just don't think that's something they're going to do. And I think that's partially where Michigan, again, wants it to be like a student first and then athlete second. And to really get to that next step, I feel like you have to make certain, you have to have players that are primarily there to play football. And Michigan is hesitant to make that leap. I don't think they're ever going to make that leap. They value their reputation as an academic standard in the Big Ten to sacrifice anything there. And that's why I think Michigan's one of the last programs in the country that doesn't have their football players all online, right? We had like Joe Burrow last year for LSU saying like he never met anyone outside of the LSU football program, which is a little sad, but like that enables so much for the players to focus on football rather than be a college student who plays football, right? I think that's an important distinction that, might hold back the program overall, but I think it's more of like a priority where it's like, these are going to be good men, like led by good people in like the coaching staff, and we're not going to sacrifice that for football success. So I don't think that's necessarily like holding them back, but it makes things like a little bit tougher. And like I said, there are some recruits that you can use that towards your advantage, but not like every recruit, right? You might be limiting yourself a little bit there. So it's tough, but I think that's like worth pointing out. And I don't think that's ever going to change really at Michigan. Okay. Second question here. I'd be interested to hear why Charbonnet hasn't been getting many touches, even though Gaddis continues to say he's the most complete back. If Bob, okay, so let's address that first one. Zach Charbonnet is a really good back, right? I do think he is. Hold on, let's go. Let me read the chat. I forgot to read chat here. You'll have to make coaching changes. Okay. Football doesn't fund academics. Academics generate much larger sum of money than athletics. Yeah, I mean, it's Michigan's identity, right? What's Michigan's identity? It's their graduate programs. Even undergraduate programs are great. So that's their identity. See, Greg, that's where I disagree. I don't disagree with that sentiment. Michigan will never take that. They're never going to say, like, you came here to play football. You're just going to play football. I don't see him making that leap. Okay. So Zach Charbonnet, he's in a tough spot because Haskins has shown to be the most patient runner on Michigan's running back core right now and the right body type for it, right? Think of how many yards he's had to generate on his own, especially last 2 weeks, really. And that's simply because the offensive line is really young. They're a little bit beaten up and not a whole lot of experience. And that's going to result in a lot of missed ID'd blocks and just a running back that needs to generate his own yards. And since Haskins is like the most linebacker-y shaped guy, and he just runs the hardest, Charbonnet is like a guy who, once he gets into the open field, he's gone, but he doesn't have that like break tackle at the line of scrimmage. Like he's more of like a shifty big guy. He's better than like Ty Isaac, but he's kind of in the same mold where Haskins runs like a linebacker And that's what you need when you have an offensive line that isn't getting you more than a yard or two. You need to churn out like a couple extra yards. And Haskins has like better vision than I think any of the other guys. Corum, I think, is like the most athletic of all the running backs and the highest upside. He has the best burst. And then Evans is unique because you can put him out at the slot, which they're finally doing. So Charbonnet is like kind of close to Haskins' style. But if the offensive line were like a little bit more seasoned and actually getting the holes necessary, you'd see a lot more production from Charbonnet. It's just a case where right now having like patience, really good vision, and just that ability to churn out yards, Haskins is the best, and he fits the mold of that better than the other guys on the roster. So it's less of like an indictment on Charbonnet's ability and more of what Haskins does well and how that fits into this offense. That's kind of my take on that. If Bob Shoop left the football team right before the season started, who's coaching the safeties? And that would be Ashawn Larkins. I think that was his name. Ashawn Larkins was, I believe, let's look him up. Ashawn Larkins. He was hired in 2019, and I think he was like just a defensive assistant, also like a special teams assistant, and I think he was from Bethune-Cookman. Is that where he was? Let me find him. Yeah, Bethune-Cookman. I totally forgot that that school existed. But yeah, so he was like the special teams coordinator and recruiting coordinator there. So what the hell? How did that happen? Oh, it opened up Twitter. So Ashawn Larkins is a guy who's likely to be a position coach at some point, right? I mean, and he's really solid in recruitment. I've heard a lot of good things about him as like a recruiter and read a lot of things about him. I don't think he's fit to be like a safeties coach right now. I think he was more of like, this is a guy who can recruit really well, that in the absence of someone like Bob Shoop, he's a guy that we can get on the road recruiting and benefit a lot from. So I think that's why he filled that role, but more in a sense of like, he's going to be an ace recruiter for us, he's going to be a great safeties coach for us. So I think that's why he filled in there. But I mean, good for him, right? He capitalized on that. Okay. Next question. Are recent struggles hurting Michigan's football recruiting? Doesn't seem so, right? Because, well, it always will, right? And but it's more like down the line. People who are like 2022 guys, 2023 guys, it's tough, right? Because the reason it hurts football recruiting is because of the uncertainty in the staff, right? The staff, position coaches, coordinators, those are the guys who really drive a lot of recruiting decisions. So like a guy like Omarion Cooper, who, you know, might have already been committed to Michigan if not for the struggles. Yeah, that's a big, you know, something that could really hurt Michigan there. You look at Isaiah Thompson, who just committed to Missouri, and he was looking like a Michigan lock, right? With some expected changes at the defensive coordinator position and probably defensive assistants and no safeties coach. Again, those things are related to Michigan's struggles, but it's more focused on like the staff rather than just like if Michigan had like, I don't know what the situation would be. So I guess this is a roundabout way of saying that like, yeah, the struggles have hurt Michigan's recruiting a little bit, but it also seems like Michigan has really pushed for guys being like into the program. Like you're committing to the Michigan program and not to like a certain coach, which is like, you see that with JJ McCarthy and think he's heading up a lot of that. But I think that's kind of like, that's been a big push for at least the 21 class, and especially JJ McCarthy pushing that with other recruits as well, where they are coming in and saying like, we can be the change, not we're committed to a certain coach. So I think, of course, you're going to have guys that are looking at that. But you also have to take into account that like, if a team is doing poorly, that also gives more likelihood for me getting early playing time, right? If it's a roster issue and we don't have talent, if I'm a talented guy, I can play early for a really big university. That's going to appeal to some guys. But then you're going to have the other side where, staff uncertainties is going to push certain people away or delay certain people's decisions, right? So I think there's a lot of things to unpack there. Okay. Most curious to hear about coaching search. I'm going to skip that one for now. I'm going to come back to that one. Actually, let's address it right here. Question: who, if anyone, deserves to be fired from the football program? Who should be targeted as replacements? All right, this is just like a huge question. I'm going to do something that I've seen other people do on streams, and I actually really love the idea. Let's just bring out Notepad and write down. We're going to do who I want, or like who should stay, who should leave, or who. Let's frame it as this. Who, I need to zoom in a shitload on this, don't I? All right. Who should Michigan keep on staff? All right. So I think there's, and I'm going to put them into 3 categories. I'm going to put must keep, maybe keep, probably gone, surely gone. Okay. So let's go with, let's start from there. All right. Let's go must keep. And I think the first one I'm going to go with is Ed Warner, right? It's your O-line coach. And that's, you put 4 of the 5 guys in the previous offensive line class. They're in the NFL. You got multiple starting. You have Mike Onwenu being potentially the Big Ten, the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. You got to keep him. I think he's an excellent offensive line coach. I think you look at a lot of the young guys right now, and sure, maybe it's not a unit that's performing really well, but there's lots of promise there. And I just think Warner has a proven track record to give him a pass, and he's done great, And the recruiting board, the guys that he's recruiting, I haven't looked at a single offensive lineman that he's recruited and brought in where I've been like, I don't know about this guy. They're all like hitting the guys that he's taking. Next guy, Mike Zordich. All right, and this is a guy who deserves some criticism for start of the year. Right? And he's not a recruiter. So that hurts, right? He's purely I'm going to coach you up into who you are, and he's not going to be an ace guy out on the road recruiting. So you need a mix of those guys, right? You want a good recruiter, but you need a guy who can coach the guys up once they're on the roster. And I think he's definitely more of the latter. I truly believe Jamin Green is an NFL player. He's 6'2", he has great athleticism. He just needed some time. He always did. And I think Mike Zordich has it. He has a proven track record with all of the other cornerbacks. I think Vincent Gray has a lot of limitations, and I think you're fair to criticize Zordich because he's part of that recruitment, right? You need to get the athletes in the room to actually coach them up, right? But everyone he's produced at that position, I feel like has reached their maximum potential outside of this year, right? Like go back to every other year. I felt like Brandon Watson was a really solid cornerback. It's just he's not a guy who's going to cover 4-3 guys out of Ohio State. Like he's just not, right? And that is, to me, more of an indictment of the overall defensive strategy rather than the position coach. We look at the improvement that we've seen out of the cornerbacks this year already. I think that it's been phenomenal. And he's not coaching these guys to like interfere with guys the way that they were earlier in this year. So I don't know. Again, he's produced enough for me over the past few years that Zordich for sure gets a pass. And then the only other guy I'm putting in the must keep is Sharon Moore, and that's your tight end coach. And that's because he was a guy who he's consistently at the top of Michigan's recruiting rankings. He was like right up there, if not above, Chris Partridge for like his recruiting acumen, right? So Warner is like, and I'm going to put this here, he's excellent at both recruit and dev, right? Zordich is really good at dev. So I'm going to put like plus recruit and plus development. I'm going to put like minus recruit, like plus dev for him. And then Sharon Moore, I'm just going to put like probably plus recruit and maybe like minus dev. I don't know. I haven't seen like a whole lot out of the tight end group to like really say he's been doing great, but his recruiting acumen overall, he's like clearly Michigan's strongest recruiter, and that's just a guy you got to hold on to. Okay. Maybe keeps. All right. This is maybe for me. I'm going to start with Brian Jean-Marie, and he's your linebacker coach. And that's because he's like a plus recruit guy, but to me, he's a minus development guy. And I just haven't seen, like the linebacker group this year, I think has been pretty underwhelming. We didn't really see that leap that a lot of us were expecting McGrone to go through. Josh Ross has clearly regressed overall, but Brian Jean-Marie was, I think, Michigan's second best recruiter last year. I really like the young group of linebackers in the room. I don't know why we haven't seen them more. But no, I agree. At 702, I think, I don't think Sharon Moore is anything special as a coach, but he's a really good recruiter. And he recruits beyond just his position. Sharon Moore is like huge as a recruiter for Michigan. And I don't think that's a guy you can get away. It's the exact same reason of Chris Partridge. Because Chris Partridge, I don't think was like an excellent coach. You could argue that maybe. I don't really know. But I think Sharon Moore's in that same mold. Brian Jean-Marie, I think, is like, he's still a really good recruiter, but I think he's less of like, I don't know, the 1 year here that we have of the linebackers this year probably make him like a double negative to me in terms of development. Like, I just haven't seen it from him. But again, that recruiting acumen is worth probably keeping around. And then the other one, this one you guys probably may not like, is Jay Harbaugh. And again, he's another guy who's like a plus recruit guy, but you could put him in the negative development as well, right? So this one actually, I'm on the fence. So maybe I'm gonna put him in the on the fence club, because like, again, when's the last time Michigan has had a running back drafted? All right, like Karan Higdon was a good running back, but like Charbonnet's not on a great path right now. But you have to give Jay Harbaugh some credit for getting Blake Corum in. I mean, Haskins was like a 700 overall recruit, and he's looking like a really good running back. So I don't know. I'm on the fence with him because, again, he can recruit, but Michigan's running back room, like running back production since what, like Mike Hart, when's the last time we sent a running back to the league? So that goes back a long time, and Jay Harbaugh is definitely on the hook for a lack of production at that, like in that regard. But again, he is a plus recruit. There's a lot of talent in that room. So again, I'm on the fence about him. I don't know why Michigan's starting three. Well, I'll get to that later. Greg. Okay, the other guy, like, I'm on the fence. So like, that's probably the end of maybe keeps for me, honestly. On the fence, I'm probably on the fence already about Josh Gaddis. And this one's tough because it's like Michigan's had like bad luck with like quarterback health. But like, where are the reads for Milton? I went over this in my past analysis. The reads for McNamara and the reads versus Milton, they just haven't been there. I mean, Jay can recruit Alex Fuller. I mean, he has some very, very diverse running backs in that room. They're not all the same. They're not. But Josh Gaddis, like, I don't know. I get it. He's in his second year as like a true coordinator. So like you have to give him some room. It's just the things that like, it's just too inconsistent, right? We'll see a game like Minnesota where it looked like a very diverse offense. And then you get a game like Michigan State where we're just attacking the teeth of that defense and not really showing the speed and space that is supposed to be Josh Gaddis' bread and butter, right? That's just not, it just doesn't exist. Yeah, you're right. He could be successful with Cade. The issue I have here, though, is why was he playing Cade McNamara, who like couldn't throw a downfield pass, right, with his shoulder injury? That should be on the offensive coordinator to say like, hey, this guy is injured to a point where he cannot run this offense successfully. Why have Joe Milton in there if he's not able to successfully go through the read progressions or even like a correct RPO? They either weren't calling them for Joe Milton or Joe Milton refused to actually run the offense, where it's an offense that relies on correct reads to be an efficient offense. Like, there's no good answer for where the offense has been this year. And it's clearly just regressed. So it's like, it's just strange. David Dells, I think that's a little like overstated, that like Jim Harbaugh has his hands in the offense. Like, of course, Harbaugh's an offensive minded coach. Okay. Let's see. What else we got? All right, probably gone. I might just skip to surely gone because I don't know if there's any like probably gones. Like, I don't know. Like, probably Bob Shoop, right? I can't say for sure. Like, I can't say that for sure, right? Can any of us? Because he hasn't been there. We don't know exactly what the situation is. I assume it's just not a good fit. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to speculate why he's not there, right? But a guy who was brought on purely for his coaching acumen, right? He wasn't a guy who would kill it in the recruiting trail. Like, he just wouldn't. So to me, he's probably surely gone, but like, I just don't know the situation, right? He's like the only guy on staff right now who could have taken over as defensive coordinator if he was there, right? If you really want to get rid of Don Brown, Bob Shoop has been defensive coordinator before. So he could have taken that over. He's like not on campus, right? So like, he's probably gone. But I just can't say for sure because I don't know the situation. And like, it seemed like it was health related, but like him not being there plus not being like an ace recruiter, like I don't see any reason for him to be staying. And then that's pretty much it for him. Yeah, I don't know S702. I don't want to speculate on that, on like, and if there's any drama there, because it could have been like it's very possible it was a health related thing, and that's tough because you don't want to speculate when it comes to those things. Okay, now we're just like in the surely gones, and I don't think any of these are debatable. Sean Nua. Okay. D-line. He's just got to be gone, right? You lose out on, oh my God. Hold on. He's going to be the top guy on the list. Oh, I'm sorry, 2021. There it is, right? Do I have to zoom in on this? You can't lose that battle. You cannot lose that battle, Rashawn Benny. You can't. You just can't lose that battle. There was a stat, and I need to like double check if it's true, but like I think it was that like Michigan hasn't gotten a true defensive line commit since Greg Madison left for Ohio State. Like, that's insane, right? It's just crazy. Like, surely gone. He's got to be. I haven't seen enough from him, both on the recruiting trail or with the current production on defensive line. It just hasn't been good. Has not been good. If Rooks crystal ball, hold on, let's go to George Rooks real quick. George Rooks 247. Hold on, Joshua. That's going to be my last one. I'm going to talk about him last. Hold on. George Rooks. Crystal ball. Holy shit. I didn't know this was happening already. Oh my God. Oh no. Wow. I didn't know this was already happening. So Mozzie Smith and Chris Hinton, S702, I don't think those guys committed while Sean Nua was on defensive line, right? So let's go to Mozzie Smith 247. Like, yeah, these were 2019 recruits. That's what I mean, because when did he oops. Shit, sorry. I think these guys committed while, yeah, Greg Madison. These guys committed like as Greg Madison. Yeah, that was before Sean Nua came around. Yeah, so that's like those guys committed to Greg Madison. But dude, oh my God, George Rooks, crystal balls you're losing to Boston College. That's just unacceptable for a guy that Michigan led for so long. So that's terrible. So that's really bad. So Sam Classic, I've seen the 3-year extension. Is that like confirmed anywhere yet? I haven't been on Twitter in the past couple hours. I've seen the rumor, but I haven't seen it confirmed anywhere. But we'll have to talk about that a whole lot. I'll talk about Harbaugh at the end here. Okay, so Sean Nua, especially with George Rooks, after losing out with Rashawn Benny, that is just unacceptable. He's got to be gone, and that is going to set back Michigan years. Like 100, like for sure, the defensive line is going to set back Michigan for a long time. And that sucks. Okay. Ben McDaniels. Ben McDaniels has to be gone, right? Like, he just hasn't, like, especially when you already have a quarterback-minded head coach who's supposed to be, like, the main mentor. I don't know what Ben McDaniels is even doing. When's the last time that we've seen, like, Ben McDaniels as the primary recruiter for a guy? Maybe I'm wrong, but, like, I just haven't heard his name. I feel like I haven't, like, seen him brought up with any recruits. I just think he's gone. I think he's like a redundant person right now. Yeah, that's true, Sam Classic. Well, 2017, let me get into that real quick. Actually, hold on, Sam Classic. I'm gonna put a note down here. 2017 class, 2018 class. I'll talk about that in a bit. Okay. What else do I have? Don Brown. Right? He's surely gone. And this is because here's why I have such a hard time with Don Brown. He was so good the first few years he was here, right? So good, like really good, like top 10 nationally in points, like top 20 nationally consistently in yards. Advanced statistics, he was within top 10 pretty much every year. And then 2020, it fell off a cliff. Right? Like, it's bad. It's bad with Don Brown going from a top 10 nationally relevant defense. I mean, go back a few years, they had 3 straight shutouts, right? That's not an anomaly. Like, Don Brown's defense was really good. to fall off that steep of a cliff, if it were 1 year, like sure, this is 1 year where previous years he's had like a good defense, right? They've statistically been good defense. The issue is 2020 has been just abysmal, right? So that's like reason one is just like 2020 huge drop off. And then reason two is 18 OSU and 19 OSU. What year was it where he just got absolutely demolished by Penn State as well? Because that was like probably the start of the end as well. But like those are the reasons, right? No, he was good. S702, he was like statistically good even against good teams. Like go back to like no, he was good. He was good. 2017 Penn State. Yeah. So like here's the thing about Don Brown to me that is the issue. He schemes around the best version of his players. And opposing offenses find deficiencies in his defenders quicker than Don Brown does. Right? We saw that with Brandon Watson. Michigan continued to put Mike McCray in pass coverage. I think that was 2017 Penn State. Other teams are just able to find the deficiencies in Don Brown defenses way quicker than Don Brown can himself. And it's just not good. And I think a big part of it is like defensive line overall and him not like switching up his defense enough. Like I think teams were able to, I don't know. I think I don't have like the clear answer there, but like these are the reasons, right? If he was able to steal one of these games where I actually think 2019 OSU, that was more of a execution issue than a coaching issue. 18 OSU, 17 Penn State, those were huge coaching misses for Don Brown. 2019 was more of execution issue, but it's still not excusable, right? Because he's coaching the guys. Oh, you're right, Sam Classic. That's my bad. 2015 was DJ Durkin. That's fair. That's my bad. You're right. I thought that was 2016. Anyway, so having this big of a drop off in 2020, combine that with like a couple really just big game gashes, right? You can call it that. And he's just gone. If he was able to like pull out 19, improve upon that, like not let one of these games, they were just not good. So like it's just too much against Don Brown right now for him to be anything but gone. Like that's it. Yeah, Rutgers this season too. No, there's no excuse for this 2020 drop off. There's no excuse for it. So that's it. And then we gotta just talk about Harbaugh here for a while. So rumors of a 3-year extension are happening. Right? So I mean, the talent difference between Ohio State and everyone is enormous. And other teams do better than Michigan against Ohio State. So rumors of a 3-year extension. My thoughts on this. If you were going to extend, why now? Right? So let's go with assumption here. Assumption. I can't do space. Rumor is true. Okay? So my first question, oops, I did not mean to do that. The first question here, if you're going to extend, why now? Right? What about this season has caused Michigan, or like, I'll put it this way. If the plan was always to extend Harbaugh, right? If I'm the athletic director and I'm going to extend Harbaugh regardless of what 2020 brings, then why not do it ahead of the season, right? I sincerely don't know, because if you were going to say, all right, 2020 is a weird year, and regardless of the outcome, we're going to extend Harbaugh. He's a good leader for the program just from a development of men standpoint, right? The guys graduate. Guys are generally no nonsense guys. He kicks out guys for misconduct most of the time. Generally, he's a good advocate for the program, right? I think those things are all true. He still has had his deficiencies, right? So you can extend him without cause for a massive jump in pay, and no one's going to bat an eye at that, right? I think he's if you just kept on his current salary and gave him 2 years at the start of 2020, no one would have batted an eye, right? People would have been cool, because this solves the recruiting issue, right? Having a lame duck head coach with the shortest contract in NCAA, it's going to kill you recruiting wise. Getting that out of the way into the 2020 season alleviates a lot of that, right? Waiting for the 2020 season only hurts you, especially when it was oh, it's going to be a weird year. You have to extend. If you were going to do that regardless of the outcome, waiting for the season only could hurt you, and it did. Because say Michigan did really well in 2020, that's only going to increase the contract value for Harbaugh, right? Then he can be well, I want an extension, and look how well I did in 2020. I want more money. Coming off of 2019, I guess that's it. An extension now means that they would have extended him no matter what, because this is the worst case scenario for this season, and they're still extending. So waiting until now, it makes no sense. It makes no sense, because you had so much time for other programs to harp on the lack of an extension, right? Just we're not sure, they're not sure if they're going to move on with their head coach. That uncertainty gives tons of recruiting fodder for all the rest of the Big Ten, all the rest of the country. I mean, you have broadcasters, as Michigan's just getting creamed, broadcasters just throwing it in Michigan's face, right? So that's where I'm at. If this 3-year extension is happening, waiting this late, makes absolutely no sense. That's malpractice as an athletic director. It's just insane. I would be completely fine with it if it was before the season. Maybe not completely fine with it, but I would have understood it. I don't understand it now. Right? It just doesn't make sense. You have what's the other scenario here? So other scenarios, if that assumption is false, is he steps away at end of season, which very possible, or he's fired after OSU game / soon. Doubtful. I'm going to put doubtful there. I'm going to put possible. I think he's likely to get extended. I guess probably going to happen. And the shitty thing here is signing day is quickly approaching, right? So if either of these things happen, the only reason to wait if either of these things is to get those recruits on board, and that is so scummy, right? That is so just shitty for those guys who are going to sign to the class, and then it's new regime, we're gone. That's just terrible, right? You just screw over those kids who signed for a program that now has no leader, and they don't know what they just signed up for. So that's not acceptable. It's just brutal. It's just not good. It's not good. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. The main thing, if you're going to extend, why now? And there's no good answer. If you're extending after 2020 with how 2018 went, how 2019 ended, how 2020 went, if you're going to extend, then you are always going to extend. And waiting until the end of 2020 to extend is malpractice as an athletic director. That's it. All right, that's it. Okay. Oops, I didn't mean to love this. Okay. How we doing, guys? This chat. I haven't looked at chat for a second. How we doing? Hoke was a great. Wow, we're talking about Hoke. You know this is a bad place we're in. I believe J.J. McCarthy is why Harbaugh stays. No, not a chance. Not a chance. You don't. No. J.J. McCarthy would be committed whether Harbaugh is here or not. He's a program guy. Wolverine Eagle, Harbaugh isn't quitting. I don't know, man. He seems like a guy who, like, I know he probably has a giant ego, but, like, he wants Michigan to be successful. He might just be worn out, right? He might. Would you rather see the OSU game happen or get canceled, which is better for the program? I'd rather see him play. I never want to, like, hear the, like, oh, they shouldn't, like, well, they ducked out of a game. Like, that's BS. But I want to see Michigan play. I always want to see Michigan play. I don't care how bad it turns up. I bet Xavier's gone. He does have a Michigan tattoo. Xavier Worthy does have a Michigan tattoo. So that's kind of crazy if he does commit to Alabama. But I don't know. With how much wide receiver talent Alabama churns to the NFL, it's just, he's got to be gone. At least that's my prediction. Okay, let's I'm going to hold on to basketball questions to the end. So I'm going to hold on that one. Emily Stout. I'm going to hold up on that one. Klaus Gaming. Are you an insider, just very knowledgeable about Michigan athletics? I don't even think I'm, like, very knowledgeable. I read a lot of Michigan stuff. I've paid attention for many years now. So I'm not an insider. I know, like, people who I would say have connections to insiders. Like, I talk to those people, but, like, I don't have any connections, really. That's not my thing. How many recruits? Oh, I need to actually... Oh, I can't even scroll down anymore. All right, these last two I can't scroll up. How many recruits do we lose because of this nightmare of a team? I mean, possibly George Rooks. I could see Donovan Edwards heading elsewhere. I don't know. Like, you have to see it like more of like a long-term thing. You could see, like, I think Sierra Wright, cornerback who's currently committed to USC, I think he probably would have flipped maybe already. I don't know. These things are so hard to predict. I don't think we're losing a whole lot of guys because of, like, this 1 year. I think it's delaying a lot of decisions. Like, I think Omarion Cooper was a guy who would have committed already. But George Rooks not being here, like, that's crazy. But again, these are more things about, like, the coaching staff because of how poorly this year has gone and because they're likely to be gone. So those things are like step A caused step B, and step B is what's causing, like, a potential fallout of recruits. I'm gonna try to answer some of your questions. I'm gonna try to get through these last couple here, though. So this last one from Michael Calibrit. You guys can't read it. Maybe I should. Okay. Do you think football program will clean house after the season, fire Harbaugh and both offensive and defensive coordinators? What do I expect to happen? Just, like, real quick. I bet Harbaugh gets extended. Defense coordinator's gone. Offensive coordinators, a maybe. That's it. That's it. That's where I would bet. That's where my money is right now. Where's our football program's talent level as far as recruiting goes and right now? All right, let's go to that. Let's go to 247 talent football teams. This should pull it up. 2020 college football talent composite. Michigan, I think, is 17th in the country. Michigan is overall on talent. So this is their breakdown of the roster. If you go to Big Ten, Michigan is third in the Big Ten in terms of talent. So they're right there. They're right there. They're like pretty damn close to Penn State. It's Ohio State clearly at the top. A group of Penn State and Michigan, pretty close there. And then like another drop off, and you got kind of like a grouping of Nebraska, Wisconsin. Like Nebraska, Wisconsin are like 4 or 5, like they're in their own kind of group. And then you have Maryland, Michigan State, and then just kind of like a bunch of trash. So, I mean, talent's there. Like, no denying that. If you go to the 2021 class, let's go to just like 2021 Michigan recruiting class, right? It's real good. It's real good. Number 2 in the Big Ten, top 10 nationally, right? Like, it's good. It's not Ohio State good, but no one's Ohio State good. So, except Bama. So it's good. How would you evaluate Michigan's? Oh, we got basketball and hockey. Okay. Okay, I'll answer these real quick. How do you evaluate Michigan's basketball team so far based on talent they have and how competitive they will be this season? They're really deep. It's a really deep Michigan basketball team. I don't think they're as talented as as some other teams in the Big Ten, but the depth they have will get them pretty far. I'd expect like maybe 4th in the Big Ten and like a 5 to 6 seed in the tournament, NCAA tournament. I think they can get there. I think they are. And then how do you think our hockey team has a shot at winning NCAA title, and how much room for improvement do you think they have? They need to improve a lot. Defense this past series against Penn State was like scary bad. Like Strauss-Mann has been carrying the defense quite a bit and haven't been impressed by the defense. The offensive potential is off the charts. I mean, you used to have so many NHL talent on that team that if they reach their ceiling, they're going to like for sure get to the Frozen Four. Okay. Let me check. I think that was it for those questions. I know there was a couple I skipped for basketball, but I'll look at the chat here real quick. Forget Harbaugh, which of our assistants? All right, I already answered that. All right, rest is Michigan basketball. I'll get to that in a bit. Let's look at chat. What do we got? Should I be concerned Indiana might pass up Michigan in Big East pecking order? Maybe. How good is Indiana right now? They're fun to watch, right? John Sema. It's John Sema. Replacement for coordinators. That's something I need to do more research on. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to do a shot in the dark. I don't know enough about like coordinators right now to really answer that for you. Strength coach. I think the strength coach is good. I think he's really good. Ben Herbert. I was high on him. He came from Arkansas, I think, a few years ago, 2018 maybe. I'm high on him. I think he's really solid. What else we got? What other? Something Xavier is leaving. Why doesn't he just decommit from Michigan? Why wait? If I'm a recruit and I'm committed to a team that I've shown a lot of love and that I was really solid on and that I got a tattoo of, like Xavier Worthy did, and then I'm going to flip over to another school, I don't want to deal with a lot of hate that would give me. It's kind of embarrassing for me because I made that decision and even got a tattoo of it, and then I'm going to flip and have this tattoo and I'm just going to get roasted for it. Even if it's like a better decision for me, it's still like a little bit embarrassing. I'm not saying like that it should be, but I'm just saying that's how I would feel. So like, yeah, I'd probably keep it down low and then just switch, sign my letter of intent, and then just like get off Twitter for a bit. That's what I would do. If I'm a recruit, that's what I'm doing. Any similarities between 2016 Brian Kelly and 2020 Harbaugh? Like how Kelly was able to turn things around. Can Harbaugh turn it around? Hold on. Let me pull up that 2016 Notre Dame team before I talk about it. Yeah, there it is. Let's go there. Let's look at their games. They have games. So, I mean, look at all these losses, right? 47-50 in double overtime, 28-36, 35-38. 3-10, 10-17, 27-28, 31-34. Every single one of these games is within one score, right? Every single one of these losses is within one score. Michigan has not been a one-score loss team this year. They just haven't been, right? They're just not that. So even though, yeah, that was a bad year for Notre Dame, right? And it was glorious to watch. This Michigan team is like, I think, considerably worse. I don't think it's comparable, really. Do you think if Harbaugh and UM split and we pick up Matt Campbell, he'd be able to keep most, if not all, of the current recruiting class? That's tough. I think you're more likely, Zach Williams, for that question. I think you're more likely to, just because of the nature of a lot of the guys in the 21 class seem to be more of like program guys. Like, we can be guys who turn around this program rather than like, I'm a Harbaugh guy. So you might, but I still think you lose guys. I just think that's going to happen. Have I addressed the Joe Milton transfer rumor? Have heard anything about it? I haven't, so I'm not going to talk about that, Alexander. I don't know anything about that. Let's see what else we got. Do you think Harbaugh can ever turn around? And what year did guys like Saban, Dabo, Jimbo find success? Let's go to Dabo. Let's go to Clemson. So actually, let me address this real quick. History record. Maybe that'll do it. Yeah, this is good. So let me answer something about Harbaugh. He came in to a Michigan program at a time where Ohio State just started rolling. Okay? And Clemson's timing is huge in college football. And Ohio State is in the middle of their best in program history, their best stretch in program history, right? I don't think there's like any denying that. And Harbaugh came in the middle of that. And it's in your same division. If you look at 2016, even 2018, Michigan wins that and they're into the Big Ten championship and they're probably going to the playoff, right? And we're not sitting here talking about Harbaugh maybe leaving. We're not talking about that. Now, that's not necessarily an excuse, right? Michigan had that 2016 game. Michigan laid an egg in the 2018 OSU game. Both of those games, Michigan just didn't win, right? And there's no excusing that. But who has Clemson really been challenged by in the ACC? Like, really been challenged by, right? They're a program where it's always a question of, well, how good actually are they? Because no one knows until they actually get to the playoff, right? And they still deserve a lot of credit because it's really easy to lose a football game, right? Even if it's against a lesser opponent, it's really easy. And give credit to Clemson, they haven't lost like that, right? They simply haven't. They've won the games they should have, and they've been dominant doing so for the most part, right? So give a ton of credit for Clemson. They are an elite program. But when you don't have like a powerhouse in your division, like Michigan's had the past 10 years outside of 2011, but like that's just tough, right? There's no question of like how good is actually Michigan because they end their season with essentially a playoff game. And that's it. Sure, Michigan has not proved themselves in those games, but like that's the reality. You're going against a team that is a playoff team at the end of your season with everything on the line. And that's not a thing that like Clemson has had to do. So like that just sucks, and that's just timing, right? You got to give a ton of credit to ACC. They don't choose that, right? They're the benefactors of that, but they're also proving themselves in their conference, right? But Michigan and Harbaugh found himself at a time where Ohio State is just at a perennial high. Like they're just better than they ever have been. So how long did it take Dabo Swinney to get there? Let's see. Before they were there, they were like averaging around 7-8 wins per season. He comes there 9-5, so towards the top end of where they had been, 6-7, and then pretty continually 10 win. I mean, this is insane. 10 wins every single season since 2011. So it took him just a couple of years. So, I mean, that's really impressive. No, nothing's official about Harbaugh staying, at least not from what I've seen. Jed Fish is great. I don't think Jed Fish would ever come back, though. How long did it take Saban to find? And, I mean, that's another thing. Look at Nick Saban Nick Saban's career. You find him at, let's go through his, oh, this is terrible. I don't want to, oh, here we go. This is what I want. How long did it take Nick Saban to find success? Pretty damn quick, huh? I mean, 2-6, and then 12-2. And he has never had less than 10 wins in a single season since then. So yeah, pretty quick. Bob Stoops. How do I feel about Bob Stoops? I don't know Bob Stoops. I don't think Michigan knows Bob Stoops. He hasn't been on campus. Do you think the offensive scheme can work with the talent at QB, or do we need to change schemes? I think the offense would work if you're actually giving the quarterback reads, and they hadn't been doing that with Milton. Michigan just has a way of like breaking their quarterbacks. It's kind of insane. And like really bad quarterback injury luck. You know? Like Justin Fields ran a lot today against Michigan State. And he just like he can do that pretty much every game. And he just doesn't get hurt. It's kind of crazy. How about Joe Moorhead at Oregon? There will be no transition. I don't know enough about Joe Moorhead. Okay, I'm going to answer some of these basketball questions. Well, we got a notification. I love this team. That's nice. Let's answer some basketball questions. What teams, this is from Emily Stout. What teams do you think we have coming up that will physically outmatch us, and what are some plays that we can run to maximize our roster? Thanks. So what teams will physically outmatch us? The only one I can really think of is Illinois with Coffee Coburn. That dude's just like an insane beast of a man. And I don't think Michigan has the centers to deal with that kind of guy. So he definitely can physically outmatch us. You could say, again, with Donsumu. Is that how you pronounce his name? Ayo Donsumu. I don't think Michigan has the guys to defend him, really. Maybe Shondy Brown. But I think Illinois is, like, far and away Michigan's worst matchup this year. I don't know enough about Wisconsin, I'll be honest. But, like, I don't think Michigan State... I don't think Michigan State can deal with Hunter Dickinson, really. I mean, Michigan State's extremely athletic, but they don't have like a huge guy down low to deal with Dickinson, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. But again, Michigan doesn't really have like a stretch guy who can deal with the length, like the athletic bigs that Michigan State brings. So I don't know. I need to watch more Michigan State. I haven't watched a whole lot this year. And then no one's stopping Garza of Iowa, and that's just like an understood thing at this point. Garza's insane. Garza will kill everybody. Coburn's a weird guy. He's just like a strong boy. Okay, there were a couple more comments on this other one for basketball. Let me find them. Another one from Emily Stout. She has some good questions here. How do you see the basketball team transitioning towards the top recruit style strategy? Do we expect first year? Okay. I think this is connected. Do we expect first year guys like Mike Smith to step up from day one and run the floor? Zionis still on livers to be that person, even though he doesn't run the point. So this one's interesting. Let's look at Michigan's recruiting class. And I mean, Michigan obviously killed it in the basketball recruits. So obviously number one nationally, right? It's crazy. So the thing I really like about this class, and I think the question was like, what's transitioning towards the top recruit style strategy? Like, how do I see them transitioning to that? I really like the idea of having like your stretch five or your wing players being those one and done guys, right? Guys who are just like extreme athletic mismatches like Diabate, I think it's isn't it pronounced Giabate? Having a guy like that down low as your 5 is just like no one's really gonna be able to match up with that. Like that's just an an NBA talent down there. And I like that because the guys that Michigan has as like their shooting guard or point guard and Frankie Collins and Buffkin, these guys might be one and dones. They're more likely 2-year to 3-year players. And you're not going to turn away, a one and done point guard, but having these guys who are going to be the facilitators of the offense, especially like a Frankie Collins, having those guys stick around a little bit longer benefits you more than having like an elite kind of like stretch or like a stretch, like a wing player like Caleb Houston or Musa Giabate. Like these guys can be one and dones and still be extremely proficient and fit into the offense a lot easier, where like you won't have to change your offense that much year over year if you have a guy like Frankie Collins at the helm. So I think that's like really valuable. And then I love it because you have like three buckets here, right? You got Houston and Giabate, who are your very likely one and done, maybe like 2 and done for these guys are one and dones for sure. And then you have guys like Buffkin or Collins. One of these might be a one and done. They're more likely to stick around for a couple of years. And then Isaiah Barnes and Will Shetter are guys who are likely going to stick around for a bit. And this is good because you're not going into full-blown like Kentucky mode or Duke mode where it's just like a fresh 5 every single time and you're just completely revamping your offense based on that talent. You have like these 4 guys who will like be a semblance of your team in the next few years at least. So you have your staples, and then you have guys who fill into like really intriguing weapons. So I think that's how good teams are built, or like elite teams are built, where you have kind of your foundation and guys who are still really talented and maybe an NBA guy a couple years down the line, but you don't have just like the turnover where you'll have just huge levels of variance year over year. That's just no way to like build a program, I don't think. Mike Smith is like a unique one just because he was a transfer and at point guard. I think like, again, that was just like Michigan didn't really have a point guard really this year out of Eli Brooks to confidently run the offense. So he was just a must get. I don't think that's going to be the case where you have like a new point guard every year. Again, I think with Frankie Collins at the helm, like he's a guy who I expect to stay a couple of years. Livers is still like the leader of this team without a doubt. It just happens that Mike Smith is like on-court leader just because he's like a really good point guard. Are there any programs in recent history that made the transition from a more modest lineup like Beeline's to a top-ranked one-and-done expected lineup like Howard's? What can we learn from them? That's a really good question, something I don't know really. Like, I don't follow basketball recruiting all that much. That's probably more in Ant Wright's wheelhouse. But I know like just that Duke has always just been one and done. It's kind of crazy that next year, well, they always fill their classes late, so I can't really say that. But yeah, this is a good question. I don't follow recruiting all that much. Like, I guess the teams that like stand out to me would be like Virginia, but I don't think even Virginia ranks, Virginia doesn't recruit really well. Like, they don't. Like, this is pretty poor recruiting. So they're not even a team that like really relies on high level guys. Villanova, that's a good one. But I don't even think they have. Oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah, Villanova's a really good example. And look at this makeup of this class. Yeah, Villanova is like the exact model you want, where you have guys who are your 5 stars, right? These are your guys who will be one and dones. Then you have a couple guys who are your maybe 2 and done, 3 and dones, right? These guys in the 50 to 75 range. And then you have guys who could be more of a developmental guy. So that's a good example of probably Villanova. And Jay Wright's like, one of the best to do it. They didn't sign anyone in the 2020 class. That's kind of insane. But yeah, again, look at this. This is like the way you build a class. You got a 5-star point guard, you get a couple guys in the like 50 range, and then you get a guy, maybe a a 3-star or 2 that will be more of your backbone of your class, provide some more leadership down the line. So yeah, Villanova, but they've only recently kind of like moved into that model. So I think Villanova is a team to watch kind of for that sort of comparison. Tanya, I expected more out of Wagner. Haven't seen it. Yeah, it's only 3 games deep. I think he showed a lot. I mean, even game 2 against Oakland where he struggled against the zone, he still pulled down something like 11 rebounds, I think. And his defense is still really good. If Chet Holmgren commits to Michigan, that'll be an insane class. No way. Yeah, I'm huge about Michigan's 21 class in basketball. It's just insane. It's just crazy. Okay. Any other basketball questions that I didn't answer? All right, it's 11:15. What else do you guys want to talk about? You guys want to see any analysis? I haven't gone over any offense. I don't know if you guys want to see any like offensive football analysis, let me know, cuz I don't know if I really want to do that, but I will if you guys do want to see it. Also, you want to see a crazy stat? Let's go into crazy stat time. We are this close to 2,000 subscribers. We're like 23 away. Crazy. We got to get there. And then you want to see something even crazier. Let's go to channel analytics here. Audience. Look at this. Look at this stat. Watch time from subscribers. Only 13 of you guys are subscribed. It's insane. Insane numbers. Also kind of a sad number. 97.6% male, but that makes sense. And then 25 to 34 years old, that's fair. I'm squarely in that range. So this all makes sense. It's surprising to me that there's like no children interested in this at all, but just some stats. All right, what do you guys? You guys want analysis? All right. Do you guys want positive offensive analysis or negative offensive analysis? Also, here, I'll give you guys some lowdown of videos to watch. I just released earlier today, a basketball video for their win over Ball State. And then I'm going to have a video dropping tomorrow for hockey highlights. And then I'm going to have another video probably out on Sunday evening for another hockey highlights video. S702, thank you for the subscription. Appreciate that. Matriot, people don't know I've been doing this for years, man. I've been doing this analysis for years. I've only paid attention more to the like thumbnail game. Like I make all the thumbnails myself. I've updated a lot of like the channel titles. I think that's gotten me a lot. And YouTube is really like locked in on my videos and like recommended them a bunch. You want a mix of both? Okay. All right, give me a second. I need to actually get my notes together if I'm doing analysis. I'll do a little bit. I'll figure it out. Hold on, there's some Twitter. There's a Twitter question. Let me answer this Twitter question, then I'll get to analysis. What's this Twitter question? Will Michigan be able to field a team for the game? Big Ten rules state that a player sit out for 21 days. Team is vague about the players. I've heard rumors it's up to 15 players. It's hard to say, right? Because Ohio State had like 23 players out. They were very vague about how many of those were out for COVID reasons. I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy. I don't know. Between Ohio State and Michigan, with like the numbers that are hurting both of them, I don't see how that game happens. Like Michigan, Ohio State, I don't see how that happens, which is kind of where both programs are at right now. I want them to play. I want them to play. Any Ohio State people watching, I want them to play. Anyone like with the Kirk Herbstreit of like, oh, waving the white flag, like get out of here. Michigan wants to play that game. They do. Like imagine Michigan ruining the playoff hopes for Ohio State. That'd be glorious. No worries, Matria. I'm the same guy. Or I'm the same way. I have to like get badgered into subscribing to any channel. I do that all the time. Basically pretty much. I didn't discover you until I got on Twitter. That's true. I've done a poor job marketing myself elsewhere or like sharing my videos elsewhere outside of Twitter. That used to be like my bare bones here. Dylan Bowes, you're one of the few 16, like in the 13 to 17 range, interested in the channel. Hopefully you can get an offer from Michigan. I hope you do. Herbstreit's been pretty good about not being biased. That was just an insane allegation that he made, like insultingly bad. Okay, hold on. I got sidetracked by Twitter. Let me pull this up. Let me pull up. I take so many notes for analysis that I need to pull them up. So I got to put these into my notes. Give me a second. Do this. Oh, this is going to be bad. This isn't the format I want. Okay, we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. Where are we at? Okay, we already have the time muted. Oh, this is going to be rough. I didn't cut like the actual offensive plays. Okay, let me exit out of this. Coastal Carolina, they're crazy. What a crazy team this year. I'm so glad they played BYU. That's so fun for them. Like that was a nice surprise to have that game actually happen. Okay. Let's go in order here. I'm just going to delete the audio on these files. Delete the audio. I don't need audio here. Okay, so let's look for this play. I'm looking for... Oh, God, this is going to be such a nightmare. 4th down. Sorry, this is going to be really annoying. 2nd and 5. I'm not looking for that. 3rd and 1. I'm looking for the next play. Nope, this play. Okay. Let's do this. Oh, this is the Wildcat play. Okay. Hold up. We're going to switch this around. Let's get this out of there. Get the notepad out. Move this. Boom. Full screen. Oh, boy. Hold on. I need to finagle. I'm telling you what, man. Getting the like analysis set up with my monitors and everything, it's always a hassle. So I got to open up Premiere Pro. Got to get the plays in order. It's just it's a difficult thing. Okay. So I'm just going in random order here, guys. I don't know how long we're going to do analysis. If you guys are sickos, you guys actually want to see this. Let's... Oh, I already opened that. Wrong thing. Use this Epic pen. Let's test out the colors here. I always do... Hold up. I always do yellow. Penn State. Should we do blue or white for Penn State? I kind of like the white, but it always like interferes. All right, let's do blue. Blue for them. Okay. Now, I haven't looked through this analysis. Yeah, you guys are sickos. You guys actually want to watch this game again? Offensive analysis? Like, whoa. Okay. Let's... Scrubbing forward here. Okay. So we're doing live analysis. So I haven't, like... I remember, like... I know some of this. I've gone through, but I haven't gone through like a whole lot of it. So let's suffer together. Let's do it. Hold on, I gotta make sure. Give me 1 sec. Okay. Okay. First play here. Oh my God, what happened? What happened to Zinter here? All right, so you got McNamara running out. Oh wait, okay. Actually, you know what I gotta do? I gotta do this. This will drive me crazy otherwise. I gotta do this. Sorry guys, this is. And then I gotta slow down the speed, otherwise I won't be able to do it. And then I'm gonna mark out. No, mark in. Mark out. Son of a bitch. Okay. Now we sequence render into out. And this will take a second or two. Can I move the chat box? Thank you. I forgot I had that. I'm actually just going to get rid of that chat box for now. All right. I'm going to do that. Thank you for letting me know that was in the way. I will just hide that for now. Appreciate you. Because that would have been annoying for everyone involved. Okay. So this is like a split zone sort of action here. So you got K. McNamara running out. And then what do we got here? Oh God, this is just bad. All right, so like it's very clear what the number one issue here is. Is that Stuber 71? I need to pull up. I honestly, I'm terrible with numbers, especially with how much Michigan has changed their numbers this year. So I actually need to bring up a Michigan football roster. Because Michigan like switched around the offensive line a lot in this game. Yeah, it's Stuber. Okay, so the main issue here is Stuber's whole job is to get his face across this guy, right? Get your face across this guy. Get your head to the inside here. And he just simply doesn't do that, right? Boom. That guy is able to knife through here and just get straight to the running back. And that's game over, right? Because otherwise, what's the assignments? So you got double team here, and then the left guard is going to eventually get out to this defensive back, one-on-one block here. This guy the right guard is releasing straight to the linebacker. Stuber picks up here, and then Mason comes across, picks up this guy, and then these guys are just coming inside to block here, right? That's got to be like the overall play design. I think what Haskins is supposed to do is like a little bit stutter and then follow Mason. I think that's the case. Let's see. Yeah, that looks like what he's supposed to do. So I think like this is like kind of too like I don't know. Yeah, I don't. I guess I don't understand because like if Mason is coming out this way, one of two, like this is coming out this way for one of two reasons. Either they strictly want like these guys to be keen off of him, right? Like they have eyes on him and then they like redirect this way if their eyes are taking them to where Mason is. And then you have Haskins just running off of like this double team, right? If there's a double team right here, then this guy falls off to like this linebacker. And then you follow off of that double team here to the short side of the field here. But like to me it makes more sense to like do a fake this way and follow behind Mason, especially with these guys crack blocking over here. I don't know. So like that's what I think this play was supposed to do. Why isn't this working? Okay. But the main issue is Stuber doesn't get his head across, right? But like it seems like it should have been a counter and he should have been following Mason. But this play is just dead because Stuber just gets absolutely demolished there. Yeah, I mean, that's also not a good block from Mason. But, like, but I don't know. This just seems like a missed, like a missed call or like a missed run here. I don't know. Because, like, there's space out to the outside here, right? Like, if he, like, does a stutter and goes out this way, like, he'll actually have room out here, especially with these guys blocking here. So I don't know. I don't know. It's not good, though. Stuber just absolutely loses that block, and that's pretty much it. You set yourself up with second and long there. Okay, what's the next play? I'm pulling up my notes again. Bear with me. Do we want a good play? Yeah, we can do a good play. I don't think I've covered like a good play in a long time. It's kind of sad. Okay, let's find a good play. I think it's this next second down. Second 11. No, that wasn't a good play. Why'd I even mark that one as a good play? Let's do another bad play. 3rd and 3. It's right after this play. Let's do that one. I'd have to go back on Stuber and Bastardis to see who they were. Like, who they committed to. Who was their main guy. Okay. Let's do this. 3rd and 3. I'm going to stop it right here. Let the play go. Just ugly. It's just not fun, guys. I mean, I know you guys know that. And I'm going to do this. We got to render it just so it's a little bit smoother. Can we do mark in? There we go. And render. I think Michigan pursues a transfer QB like Mackenzie Milton. I don't know enough about Mackenzie Milton, but I would bet the quarterback room next year is just so depleted. You don't have a whole lot of guys left. You got to do it. Why do they always run wide receiver routes on 3rd and long and stop the route like 3 or 4 yards before first yard line? I think in this game specifically, it was a case of K. McNamara not able to throw anything beyond 5 yards. In general, yeah, I don't know. That was the story of Penn State game for sure. Split zone run here. Okay, let's look at the block design. Oof. Who is that? Who is 65? Hold on. I need to pull up roster again. 65 Zinter. Zinter just gets mauled here. Okay. So that's like a big issue here, right? It's split zone. And a big issue is Zinter just loses head up one-on-one on this guy. This guy just just resets Zinter right here, where you have Stuber releasing out to the second level here, try to pick up a linebacker. They're going to have Eric All coming off to get the endmost edge defender here, coming up here. The issue is his route is blocked because Zinter gets just pushed back right into his path, so he's not able to actually get to this edge, and that just hesitates everything, right? Like, watch right here. Eric All's trying to ID that block because Michigan's leaving him unblocked on purpose. But because of how far back Zinter is already, you force a decision from Haskins right away. Right? It's not like he has that extra beat to decide which way to go. He's lost already. Like, he has to decide, do I go left or right? And he decides to go right. And then you just have like a couple really poor blocks here, right? Like Eric All falls off 28 right there. So like Eric All is eventually able to get to that end, but he doesn't pick him up really well. That guy just sheds Eric All and then gets Haskins pretty easily. And then you just have a couple other guys able to scrape over to the play. I mean, they're playing so close to the line, right? I mean, you just look at the numbers here. And you have really, how many guys do you have in the box, essentially? For Penn State, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like really 8. This guy's only, what, 7 yards? No, that's a little bit more. Like 9 yards, 8, 9 yards. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 8 guys, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So you're already like, sure, maybe you can get 3 yards because this guy's a little bit further back, but it's not like he's, back here. He still is able to like fly up pretty quickly. But again, he's bought that time because of the hesitation that Haskins has to take right here because of how far back Zinter is pushed. That's not good. Yeah, you're right. He's too high there. You're right about his pad level there. So that's not good, right? It forced that quick decision from Haskins. I can't blame him for going to the right here. But, yeah, there's just too much traffic. He trips over that. You have 58 who's falling off. I mean, this is a tough job for 58. 58 is on a double team. Well, he should have done better. You have a double team right here, and then you're going to have 58 falling off to the backside linebacker. And this guy is still able to... Oops. I hate when it does that. Oh, it just messes it up every time. And then you have the backside linebacker able to scrape over as well. Is that the right guy he's going for? Yeah. Just not able to get to 13. He was able to redirect and get an assisted tackle. And again, you have, you just don't even have this, you just don't have these two guys accounted for on your blocking scheme. These guys are just able to flow freely to this run. So, when you have these two free guys and the run is here and then he bounces it here, you're just doomed. And that's pretty much it. It's just not good. Yeah, so that sets up Michigan with 4th and 3, 4th and 2.5. And I don't even think they get it. So let's skip forward to that play. Where are we? Okay, 4th down, 4th and 2. Yeah, there's showing a replay. Actually, I should have checked for that. That's probably a better angle. Oh, well. Okay, 4th and 2. Oh, yeah. Wasn't this the one where Michigan had 2 guys in the same area? I covered this on a podcast this week. I did a podcast with Blue by 90. That was a podcast I did, and we talked about this play. We didn't actually dive into it, but it was a fun talk with those guys. Let's do 40. Boom. Mark in. Mark out. Oops. Sorry. Mark out. Oh, shit. What did I just do? Mark out. There we go. And boom. While that's happening, let me check something real quick. My channel. See if we got any other questions on Twitter. Nope, we're good. Ooh, hold on. Something to share here real quick. Huh. So this was a guy I was interested in, Billy Napier of Louisiana. They're 8-2 this year or something. That's funny. This tweet, he's essentially just saying that nope, I'm not looking at anyone else. I'm sticking with it. That's funny. He's a hot name in the coaching circles these days. Okay. So what happened on this play? Throw across the middle. All right. So what is Michigan actually trying here? Mesh concept and 2 guys just sit in the same spot, right? All right. Yeah, this is just odd. It's a little bit strange to me, like what the actual goal of this play was. Sorry, I'm going through this play just to like get all the routes. So it's very odd to me. Okay. So mesh concept, right? Mesh here. AJ Henning coming across here as well. And then you're going to have, what is this, Ronnie Bell kind of run like a sit route right here. And then you have Johnson running an underneath sit route right here as well. And now the backfield just out to the flats. That's it. So let's see. Why did they stop where they did? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like there's something wrong. Like there's nothing wrong with the mesh concept, right? Like AJ Henning and Eubanks running the mesh concept. That makes sense. And it's just a late throw. Right? Like this throw is actually like I understand that McNamara is waiting on this guy to clear out, right? Because you have Eubanks coming across here. Really, this is where you want to throw it to Johnson or Bell right here, like in either one of these spots. The issue is they're just like too close. I think Bell had to like get a little bit more depth here. But also if the throw is, yeah, I mean, McNamara has to wait for that guy to vacate the area. But I also think number 8 did a really good job here. Where like number 8 is looking like he's going to be chasing Ronnie Bell. But then the last minute he like stops and comes down to Cornelius Johnson. But he's only able to make that play because of how close those routes are to one another. I don't know. I think, if anything, this is probably on Bell, who has to get more depth here and also continue across the field, I think. And then that just like leaves a little bit more room for Johnson right here. Like having two guys right here at the same level, essentially like 3 yards apart, just doesn't make sense to me. Just doesn't make sense. And then it just takes too long, right? Like I just think if he's looking to throw at either Johnson or Bell, he should be throwing that ball like right now. Which I guess he is. So not, I mean, it's just tough because in order to like see that at the right time, like either throw right now, right? Either throw to Johnson or Bell. Number 8 probably can affect it, right? He was able to obviously affect it with the throw to Johnson. He might be able to redirect here to Bell. He might. I mean, it's a good play from him to stop his motion following Bell and get to Johnson there. But I think this is just an issue of like, I think Bell just had to continue there. But either way, it's good defense, not good route running. I don't understand the concept. This could just be an example of a better defensive call than offensive call. Oh, and that kills him. Okay. Let's look at the big run for Haskins on Michigan's, only touchdown drive this game? That's near 232. So let's skip to 232 in the first, I think. That's a commercial. What was that? 610. No, we got a ways to go here. Okay, it was after it was before this. That's a commercial. It's a commercial. Where are we? I don't care about this commercial. Okay, we got to be close. Ah, there it is. Found it. Oh, this play was like right after commercial break, right? Okay. We get like 0 time to analyze this play because it's just like commercial, boom. Big run. Nice cut. Okay. Let's do this. Boom, boom, boom. Move you. Okay. Move our out cut there. Or in here. Feel like we need a better wide receiver coach? Probably. You'd think our offense coordinator, who was a previous wide receivers coach, would get there. Michigan should invite you to their film session because it looks like they don't. So here's the thing about that. I am just a purely reactionary guy. If I'm sure they're recognizing this in the film room. If they're not going over this in way more detail and more elegantly than I am, then that's a huge problem. They're absolutely doing this. What I'm doing is like pretty bare bones, I would say. They don't need me. Do you really think getting rid of Jim will really solve their problems? First name, last name? Probably not. I think there's been enough to move on from Harbaugh. I just don't think they're going to do it. Yeah, Stamos. I mean, you're right? That like there is technically no wide receivers coach. I think that's what Josh Gaddis would be, right? Like he's an offensive coordinator who is also the wide receivers coach. But you're right. Maybe he isn't, putting enough time into wide receivers here. All right, let's watch this play. Oh, this is an interesting play. Okay, let's break this down. What happened? It's just a trap play. Yeah, this is trap. This is cool. Yeah, this is super cool. Yeah, this is well designed. Thanks, S702. My love for anything that ends at 105 minutes. That's fair. I'll go another couple plays here, and then I'll be done as well. Appreciate you stopping by. So this play is interesting. So like the key to this play is you're bringing this guy on a pull, right? You're also bringing this H back, and this does two things. This allows 55 to get upfield here a little bit, which you want, and it also gets these linebackers really flowing hard here because their keys are on these guys, right? They're going to see these pulls happen, and that's going to bring them this way. All right? You're going to have a double team here, and then the left guard, I believe, is going to fall off to get to a linebacker, one of these two guys who, after they go this way, they're like, oh, shit, I got to redirect and go back this way, right? They're going to try to redirect after their initial motion here. And yeah, so this guy's going to be released, and the right guard here is going to pick this guy up, and he just wants to wall him off. They have one-on-one Stuber on the backside, and then I don't think we really care what these guys are doing. So it's an interesting play design. That's why you do trap. If their defensive tackles are too aggressive, you essentially let him upfield and then just ride him out, right? So that guy is completely useless here because of how aggressive he was initially. And then your whole play is just like, get him out of here, right? Just let his momentum take him out of this play. And then it's just a good job. So like this, the backside guys here are just dealing with anyone flowing through. And it's actually pretty interesting because this double team leaves 18 unblocked, right? So you have 66 coming across on a pole. He's going to take him. Ben Mason's going to come as well. And look at what this looks like to one of these linebackers, right? You have a couple guys pulling. You're first, like, you're going to be like, oh, I need to fill this gap, right? Like, look at all this open space. And this guy's like, okay, I got to play contain. I got to shuffle this way to fill this gap that this guy is attacking here. That's exactly what Michigan wants because the guys on the front side, or I guess technically backside here, but it's a design counter to go against this motion because they're trapping this guy who's just flying upfield. Got one-on-one block here. Stuber's doing well. And the motion from the second level is taking themselves out of this play. So that's really interesting. It's executed really well, especially that second level block from 62. He did well. He actually took out two guys there. That's pretty good. You can see here, because of, again, that linebacker, this linebacker replacing here, right? He shuffles this way. That allows the offensive lineman to get here. And then he also picks up this guy who's coming down. And he's like, oh, shit, I got to go this way. And he falls off this and picks up this guy inadvertently. So that takes out essentially the entire second level here. And then he's just gone. It's actually pretty lucky. That's a horrible play for number 12. This should be like a 5-yard gain. It's actually, you need to do a lot better if you're Roman Wilson here, right? Roman Wilson on the outside. He needs to cut inside first and then just wall him off here. Wall off this guy, hopefully. That's just, he takes a really like poorly rounded angle here. And this guy just like watches this play happen in front of his eyes. That's not good. Like, oof, what are you doing, number 12? He's let him run right over. And then that's just a nice cut from Haskins, right? To his credit, Sainer still with a good block on number, well, he kind of fell over, but at least attempt. And Roman Wilson ran down the field, right? So at least Roman Wilson made up for it there. But this is just a schematic win for Michigan. Well-timed trap play. And that gets him close. If Harbaugh gets extended, I expect that he'll have to clean house as much as Brian Kelly did. Yeah, he probably will. Probably will have to. I mean, there's enough wrong with his team that I don't think that's, I don't think that's incorrect. I think for sure he probably will. Give me a sec. I lost my chat. There it is. Okay, let's do a couple more plays. Like maybe one or two. Oh, I'm not saying I trust Harbaugh to hire any assistant coaches. I mean, again, he's firing all the guys that he previously hired, right? It's like my confidence right now isn't super high in Harbaugh. I think you're kind of crazy if it is. So, like, I don't see enough to, like, really have a lot of confidence in an extension. But, like, that's where it seems like things are going right now. It's just kind of crazy. All right, let's look at a touchdown. Let's see if it's actually an interesting touchdown. I have it marked as the 3rd and goal. That's when he scored. All right, let's watch it. Okay, that's about good. Ooh. Okay, move this. Boom, boom. 40% speed. We'll do mark in. Mark out. And we'll render it. I think Josh Gattis was too young to be an offensive coordinator. I don't know about that. I don't know. There are young offensive coordinators that can make it work. I think there's like maybe a personnel problem. I don't know. Okay. All right. So what happened on this play? I like this little motion for Bell because what it does, it gives him some momentum for this block. It's pretty interesting. Gives him a little momentum heading outside for this block on number 12. He actually doesn't really matter. But so what are some key blocks here? It's just split zone. Nothing crazy. Key block here is just a double team. Boom, boom. 52, fall off, get to a linebacker after that double team. Right? If you watch him, like double team, actually doesn't really even fall off too much. Only block that really matters here is Eric All. That's like the main one to point out. You're leaving this guy completely unblocked. Eric All has to come through here and just completely blast him. Then off of this double, this is where the run really is for Haskins, right? Just plow through a linebacker here. That's your MO. Seems like Barnhart, I think that's 52. He should fall off quicker to this to get to a linebacker. He never really does. But, like, he should be getting to the second level right there, right? Like, there's plenty of movement there for Barnhart to fall off of that to get to the second level. He's lucky that this guy, number 13 here, He's lucky, in my opinion, that this guy doesn't shoot off of the butt here, because I think that's who Barnhart has to target after the double team. That's my opinion. But give Eric All a lot of credit. He comes across formation, pops 18. That creates just enough of a seam for Haskins to go through and actually truck 13 there. So everything else backside is like kind of irrelevant to this play. But yeah, Barnhart, I think, could have done a little bit better to release to the second level quicker. But give a lot of credit to Eric All for popping 18 on the edge, giving that crease for Haskins to slip through, and then Haskins just bowls over him. So yeah, it's a fun little play. Okay, one more. Let's do one more. Before the final play, thank you guys for joining. Appreciate you guys being here. If you haven't subscribed yet, we're super close to 2,000. Where are we at? Let me pull up. Super close. How close, you ask? We are 16 away. 16. 16. So if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. It means a lot to me. Appreciate you. Okay, last one. Let's choose a good or bad one. Let's see. What do you guys want to see? You want to see a good one or a bad one to end? I mean, there's not a whole lot. Not a whole lot of good beyond this point. Looking. Boom, boom. Basically, pretty much, are you going to do any coaching candidate videos if some come available? As soon as Michigan starts hiring guys, I'm sure I'll probably put together some sort of background videos on who they are. I'm sure I'll do that. So probably. Thanks, Sam Stamos. Appreciate that. Something good? All right, we're going with good. Okay, let me try to find a good play here. Chris Evans, I have a couple runs for him. I could look at. Let's review those, see if those are interesting. Second quarter, I need to skip to. I don't remember those being super good plays, but hold on, let me find it. 14-13. So 1st and 10. 14-13. I want it to be an actually good play. I could break down the Moss play for AJ Henning, but let's see here. Let's choose something a little bit more exciting than that play. Technically, Chris Evans could. Everyone could come back next year. Every single player could come back next year if they have a scholarship spot. Okay, these are kind of boring plays. Let's find a good pass play. 820. Let's skip ahead to 820. Yeah, everyone can come back as long as there's not a, mutual parting of ways between two guys. Bum, bum, bum. First and 10, 820. I'm looking at 820. Whoa, I'm way past 820. Sorry, guys. This is how I set up the plays. I have to go through the game and cut every single play and then do analysis of it. Doing it live is a little bit sloppier, as you can tell. Okay, we're close. Yeah, let's do this play. I think this was Milton's one completion on the day. Yeah, Ending on Ronnie Bell is a good way to go. I'll do that. I like that. Big Ronnie Bell fan. He was actually my first, fun fact, he was my first recruit review video back when I was still with MGO Fish. Shout out MGO Fish. Ronnie Bell. I actually made a really, oh my gosh. We're going to end with this play, and then I'm going to show you like a little like highlight video I made for Ronnie Bell as a part of that. I need to find that. That was fun. That was back in the day. I was a young lad. Okay. If they didn't get behind the sticks in some of these games, they had a chance to win. You're not wrong. Bell's a dude, man. Tell you what. How Bell didn't have more scholarship offers for football is insane to me. Oh, okay. Rendering. And okay. Good ball, good pickup. I'll tell you what, Bell has a knack of getting extra yards after the completion. He really does. Okay, so what's the pressure look like for Penn State? Sending 5. Ooh. Who is 66? Who is that? How do I not know who 66 is on this team? I swear my memory of Chuck Filiaga. How do I... Come on. Come on, Steven. Chuck Filiaga gets beat here. So you only have 4 rushers, or 5 rushers, excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. It's like a corner blitz. So good job. Barnhart's already aware of that guy coming here. So you have the center shifting here, left guard here. Boom, boom. Everyone's accounted for. This is just the main matchup that Michigan loses. Filiaga. And, I mean, technically he gets there, right? Milton didn't get hit, so he adjusts late, but he just kind of loses hand contact there. It's a nice little, like, swipe movement from 77 from Penn State, but you'd like to see Filiaga get a little bit more engaged, but otherwise, pretty good pass protection for Milton there. Okay, so that's protection. Routes, it's hard to tell. Only route we really know, I don't even know. It's like a little like one of these routes. So like he goes, releases inside, and then kind of like curls back to an out route. And then you just have like a more traditional out route for Bell on the outside. Looks like the first read for Milton all the way was that out route. Looks like he's looking there 100%. And there's just some room, especially with like this guy is inside. Right, so for this route with this guy's alignment, it's going to be hard for him unless he, like with him gaining depth here, there's going to be too much separation between him and this route for Bell for him to really make a play on that. So it's the right throw here. So it's pretty well timed. Bell does a good job of just creating his own space. Good job cutting inside there of Eubanks. And he just creates, an extra 10 yards out of this play on his own. 10, 12 yards. So good job from Bell. Okay. All right, that's it for offensive analysis. Let me find that highlight video. This is like back when he was in high school. Let me see if I can find that. I need to pull that up. Let's see if I can. Stephen Toski, Bell, maybe. Let me see if I can find it. Oh man, we're going way back. I might have better luck if I go into like my Google Drive to find this, which is kind of crazy. Bell. Yeah, I found it. Hold on. Oh, here we go. All right, hold on. I got to find music and pause it. Bell's highlight film was like so much fun. Let me stop this music. All right, ready for this? Let's bring this over. All right, ready for this? Old school. This is like 2016, 2017. Sorry, I probably blew your ears off with that, right?
I'm balling, spending everything I'm making. 'Cause when I'm gone, I know that I can't take it. Before we leave the club, she getting naked. Hey, time is wasting. Okay, I'm still down with my day one. Still.
I just remembered I probably can't stream. Well, yeah, I think I couldn't. I probably can't stream the whole thing. I'll put a link to that when I can find it. But I might get in trouble with YouTube for like that music. But anyway, old school. Back in the day. Okay, guys. I think that's it for me. Thanks for joining in. I think we had quite a few guys. Quite a few guys hanging out. So appreciate you guys coming in. Make sure you throw a like on it if you haven't already. Thanks to you guys for subscribing, for all your questions as well. I know I didn't answer all of them, but maybe we can do this again soon. If there's any coaching changes and stuff. Yeah. Let me know what you guys want to see. And hopefully we can get to that 2,000 subscriber pretty soon here. But yeah, guys, I think that's it for me. I'm going to try to finish this hockey video, get through that. But I appreciate you guys' support. Let me know what you guys want in the future. Reach out to me on Twitter at Steven Toski. If you guys want to see this more, again, your support, that's what shows me that you guys want more of these. If the coaching search like heats up and stuff, these could be like more fun to delve into like the past histories of coaches and stuff. So I'm not against doing that, but yeah. All right, guys. Thanks again. Take it easy. Go Blue.